I've had the opportunity to visit with a lot of industries, and you always think that there's some magic bullet, there's some magic technical skill that they need to know, but more often than not, our employers tell us that they just want someone who will show up on time, who is willing to work, and someone who's a critical thinker and a problem solver. You know, they don't want someone who's going to come in and just stay with the status quo, push this button and move on. You know, really challenge what's happening there. Is there a better way to do things? Can they streamline things? Can they help production? Can they be a contributing factor and a member to the team?
Important things for us are, you know, your ability to write, your ability to communicate one-on-one, face-to-face, whether that's formally or informally. We see there's a deficit from some of the graduates we see that have a little bit of work to do in terms of improving those kind of soft skills. And then lastly, I'd say just knowing how to team and get along with people, knowing how to overcome challenging situations, not giving up, having resiliency. There's a lot that we would value in people that come out of college and high school with those kinds of skills, because we can teach the technical. Those are things that we can train for and are pretty easy, relatively speaking, to teach for. Much harder to teach the teamwork and the problem solving and the conflict resolution and management and verbal and written communication skills. Much more difficult to teach that than it is the technical and engineering skill sets.
Talk to a lot of kids when we do events, and I talk about stepping out of your comfort zone, and if you fail, you're not the failure. The project failed, the situation failed, the interview failed, but you're not a failure. And because we concentrate on energy, I remind them, how many times did Thomas Edison, take to make our light bulb? He was not a failure. His attempts failed. But once you step out and take that first step, each step gets easier and easier.
When you're talking about students coming out and are they ready and how do we prepare them, I think most of our students come out very confident. Many of them come out confident in their knowledge. But when you're trying to transfer that to a workforce, you may not get the CEO position the first time you apply. So you have to be open-minded to be able to figure out, this is an entry-level position, and if I work and do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to get to that CEO position.
I think one of the biggest things that students need to know is to have an open mind. We'll take manufacturing as an example. Manufacturing today is not manufacturing 20 years ago. Things have changed, and so students need to have an open mind and to realize that there are so many opportunities available to them.
We want our homegrown kids to be our employees because they are committed to their community, to their homes, and we think they make great employees.
We have a large demand for more technically qualified workforce, and a growth that we're kind of seeing not only in Berkeley County but in some of the other low country areas. Berkeley County in particular, though, it gives us a larger applicant pool, and with a larger applicant pool means there's more people in schools, more education, outreach programs, so that we have more access to employees, future employees, potential employees that we can recruit from, that we can go into schools and help some of the STEM outreach programs, so we have a larger population which we can contact, and that's a positive thing for us.
Youth apprenticeships are growing, internships are growing, these online skills that they can learn, these stackable credentials that they can now earn in school, they can, through their high school career, come out with workforce-ready credentials and go straight into employment.
So we are trying to seek the students that aren't ready to go off to college or want to do that 2-year degree.
Our vision is that we can create a pipeline at an early age, probably middle school age, to where we have an identity with those students. They know what we do, they know what our mission is. We support naval missions primarily, largely, and that they know the types of skill sets or careers that we offer.
There's not always a straight shot anymore. College may not always be the best answer for a student.
I think the financial literacy is needed in our community. Is it a tough job? No, I think people are thirsting for that knowledge. I think people have seen their parents or grandparents struggle, and I think they're trying to find a way not to struggle.
Maybe everything isn't about IT or engineering, but there's other options, whether it's finance or contracting or other business things that we support and they're important for our mission. They could look at that. So it'd give them a lot of options, and that's kind of how I see that partnership between industry and Niwik Atlantic.
It goes beyond just those fun friends. It goes to finding those relationships that will mentor them, that will help them grow. It's learning to be accountable. It's a different culture, and it's not a give-me culture. They have to be willing to actively work about it, grow themselves, and be accountable for, their success.
Timeliness, I know that sounds very elementary, but timeliness, being on time to work, if you're given a task to get it done in a time. I think students are unfamiliar with handing things in on a deadline. So I think that is one thing that we